and watchers and listeners to Sport Talk with Dwat. If you would please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And with that being said, let's get this show on the road.
All right. Welcome into Sport Talk with Debo, episode number 35. I got him back on the show. Randy is back. What is going on, Randy?
Not much. What's going on, D-Walk?
Oh, man, it's another nice Sunday afternoon. A little bit rainy here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, it's raining a little bit here.
Yeah, so that's just kind of part of it there, I guess. We'll get through the day, and we will get this podcast on the road. All right. Weekend-wise, I'll go ahead and start with the weekend a little bit, Randy. I watched the Vols get the win last night. I watched some fishing from down there, so that was pretty cool to see some of the Bassmasters fishing going on. So that was my weekend.
Yeah, my weekend. I watched a little bit of fishing yesterday. Done a little bit of stuff outside around the house that needed to be done. What was kind of a nice day, and that's about it. And this morning I got up and went to church. Just got back not long ago, so it's been a relaxing weekend.
There you go. Needless to say. Oh, that's always good to hear. All right, Randy. News of the week. This is out of Chattanooga area. The Chattanooga Lookouts have changed Louie the Lookout from being kind of a skinny to a fluffy, big, round, fluffy mascot. They got a new stadium going to open up here real soon, and they've made a change to the mascot. What do you think about that change, Randy?
Well, I guess that's kind of good. He's put on some weight. He's eating some good Southern food and drinking some sweet tea. He's getting a little hefty like we are.
He definitely gained some weight over the off season for sure. All right, Randy. Here's another good one for you. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has been granted a 6th year of eligibility from the NCAA. I'm not a big fan of this, Randy. I wish these guys would play their years and move on, but now they're getting all they can. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm like you. I think you play your 4 to 5 years, and that's it. They gave them the red shirt for them to have an extra year, but I'm thinking just play your 4 to 5 years and go on to pros. If you're not that good at pros, go on. You know what I mean? You got an education, use it. All it amounts to is this NIL stuff. They're wanting it for the money because they know they go to pro and they can't do it. I don't know about him. He can. He's a good quarterback. I don't know how he's going to last, but we'll see. You know what I mean? He's a decent quarterback, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Now, I don't either. I think it's going to keep happening, and these guys are going to start going to smaller schools on purpose for a year or two. Then they're going to transfer up to the big school and be trying to stick around way too long.
This is way too long. I agree too totally. I think they need to just say you got 5 years and that's all you got.
Yep, 5-year max. That's a very good point there, Randy. All right, that's about all the news I got for that. For news of the week, we're going to shift on to the FXR Bassmaster Elite at Lake Guntersville in Scottsboro, Alabama. That's where they were last week. February 5th through the 8th. It's a big lake down there, 69,000 acres. So it's a good, large lake. Let's hear about some of that, Randy.
Yeah, last week they was down on Lake Guntersville, which it was a cold weekend last weekend, and it made them bite different. And last weekend they was catching them on stuff like this rattle trap right here. This is called a lipless crankbait. They're throwing stuff like this over there, and when you want to throw something like that over there, they throwing it over there, and they're getting a red color because right now in February, anywhere in February or March, you want to throw a red color. So last week that's where they was at. They said the water temperature last week, I hadn't fished since October, but they said the water temperature last week was in the mid 40s to up lower 50s. So that's what they was throwing. They was throwing them lipless crankbaits, and they was throwing these little jerk baits like this.
Oh, okay.
You got 2 different colors. You got that red, or you got a minter looking one. It's just what they do. Them fish, they'll start suspending out there. Don't know what they're wanting to find food. They'll come up into the shallow water and find food, and you can throw them jerk baits like that over there, and they'll catch them because it kind of looks like, you can see right here, it kind of looks like a long minter. And that's what they think it is.
Yeah, there were some guys from that that was there from Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
There was four Chattanooga guys there. They didn't finish well, Randy. They were from fourth or finished 11th on back. So it really
Yeah.
wasn't a good weekend for those Chattanooga guys, but it's
I
good to
mean,
see them out there.
yeah, I mean, a lot of times they say, Chattanooga, Guntersville's not that far from Chattanooga. You can be in Scottsboro from Chattanooga in an hour to hour and 15 minutes, depends on how you drive. So they kind of, a lot of times they say these hometown lakes, what these guys got is a curse. It's hard for them to win on it. And it is. I can see that, but a lot of times it's just the look of the, I mean, the guy that won it, Hank Cherry, he's got some history there. He won the Bassmaster Classic down there in, I'm wanting to say it, 18 or 19. He won the classic down there. And I mean, he's in his 50s. He's an old school, well, I call him he's about like me. He's an old school guy. He knows how to fish the stuff. And he called him old school off of a little crappie grub throwing up on that grass, working off in about 4 or 5 foot of water. And
Okay.
that was neat to see.
Yeah, so Hank Cherry wins. He got a total of 88 pounds, 11 ounces there in 4 days, and he won $102,000. That was his fifth Bassmasters win.
Yeah.
That was good for him.
So he's been around, like you said, he's won 5 times and he's won 2 classics. And when he won the classic, that's what you're going to go see, and I'm going to go see next week or next month up in Knoxville. He won it one year. I think he won it the first year he won it on Guntersville. And then the next year they went out to Texas and they had it a little bit later. I think it was Lake Roberts, and he won it there back to back. And that's just, I mean, that's amazing that somebody can win something that big. I mean, the classic is what, right? The Daytona 500 is going on right now. That's the Super Bowl of racing. The classic is the Super Bowl of bass fishing. Everybody wants to win the Bassmaster Classic, and for somebody to win it twice in a row, that's amazing. That's some good fishing.
That, that was cool to hear that, Randy. Oh, Corey Johnson finished second that weekend. He led her early on in the tournament, and it just didn't go his way at
It
the
just
end.
didn't go his way. Yeah, he's another good one. He's probably, I'm gonna say, in his mid 30s. I think what they were saying. He's from he's one of the Canadians. You see some Canadians crossing over from up there because they fish a lot of the Great Lakes. We go up there and fish Great Lakes a lot. The Classic does, and all of them do now. They fish Great Lakes a lot. And he's one of the Canadians that crossed over, and he's done good at the sport.
All right, Randy, let's kind of talk about the rules a little bit. So, do they keep these fish or do they throw them back?
The on the Bassmaster class on the Bassmasters, what they're doing right now, they keep their 5 best fish, and you can catch whatever your 5 best fish is, but they got to weigh down there on Guntersville. A largemouth has got to weigh 15 inches. I mean, got to be got to be long, 15 inches long. A smallmouth got to be 18 inches long, and a spot can be 12. So that's why you see them on the Bassmasters. They'll catch them and they've got one of them cull boards and they'll lay them down there and they'll measure it, see how long they are. And after they see how long they are, see that what we call a keeper, they'll weigh it and see how much it weighs. So you keep your 5 best fish. That's what you do, and whatever that comes out to be. Last week or last tournament, what was it? 80 something other pound. 80. You said 86 pounds won it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking right now, they're down there on Lake Martin, and yesterday Fisher and he only had like 50 pounds. Their average fish down there is probably only 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. Or Guntersville, if you're not catching a 3 pounder or a 4 pounder, you're not doing no good. That's the difference in the lakes.
Yeah, I was watching it today, and I don't love the whole keep it together there in the live well. I feel like it'd be better for the sport and the fish to just catch them, weigh them, and throw them back. Catch and release is what I would like to see.
And that's where the Bass Pro Tour comes in the event. Well, what was down there, they was down there they was down there, I think the last time we was on, they was at the Bass Pro Tour was down there. And what they do is every fish counts. But you say every fish counts, but they got to be at least 2 pounds. They got a marshal in their boat, and he holds that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And when you catch a fish, you hand it to him. They don't even touch and see how much it weighs. Until he weighs it, and he'll weigh it, and he'll say 3.5 pounds, and he'll show it to him. Do you agree? And he says, yeah. You toss it back, and then he goes over on a scoreboard and writes down that weight and throws it back. Where the Bassmasters, they do the old school way, what I call old school, 5 fish, your best 5 fish. And I like them both because that's old school. But for fish conservation, keeping fish, the new way, BF, the Bass Pro Tour is the best way. But you got to have more, in other words, more sponsors and more money for the marshals to ride around, because them marshals gets paid to ride in the boat with them, because they're taking 3 or 4 days off work, so they have to pay them. Yeah. And I kind of like that. I do like that. I like it. At one time, it was anything over a pound. Them boys can put some weight on. They raised it up to 2 pounds, and I kind of like the 2 pounds. I think it ought to go by what lake you're on. If you're on a lake like Guntersville, I think it ought to be a 2.5, 3 pound minimum myself, because you're going to catch a lot of 2 pounders.
Yeah, that's true. Which all lakes are kind of different with the fish that are in that lake and get bigger. And that's a good take. I just don't think the fish are going to be able to get put back in the water. And they're not. I don't know how they're going to survive from getting shocked from the water shock.
And it ain't too bad right now because it's cool water. Yeah. But when you fish up into, say, June and July, when it's hot, that water temperature is like 80 to 90 degrees. And that's why you'll see them a lot of times whenever they fish in them tournaments, they got this stuff they put in there called live well. And what you do is when you fill your tank up with water, then you pour two teaspoons of that in there. It's on a squirter that you pour in there, and it helps regilate the water to make it fresher. And you keep doing that, and you see them do that. You see them put ice in there to cool the water down. They try their best to keep the fish alive, and they're good at it. But the catch and release is the best way. My honest opinion. I'd like to see the Bassmasters go to that, but I don't think they ever will.
All right, well, that will lead us right into the next question I got for you. So talk about the temps of the water. This time of year, are fish trying to go to where it's deep or shallow?
Used to, my dad always said, summertime you want to go, wintertime you want to go deep, because fish are deep looking for that high, that climate of water where it's a little warmer. Well, they do that, but whenever you get these days like yesterday, they get up in the 60s. And even this coming week, it's going to get up in the 70s. It's going to raise that water temperature, and them fish are going to move up shallow, up into 5. Even I've seen them up in a foot of water, because they're going up in that shallow water looking for that warm water. And when they get that warm water coming up, this bait right here is one of my favorite baits to throw. It's called a chatterbait. Mm-hmm. That vibrate, that lip thing right there, it's a jig. But they designed a jig. This is a jig, old school jig, and they designed it, and they put this vibrator on it. You'll hear them call it chatterbait, vibrating jig, whatever. And that thing will go through the water, and it makes a vibration. And you put this one's got a crawl on it. I'll put a crawl. I'll put a swim bait, something like this on there, and it'll just make it just come alive, and the fish will eat that stuff up in that shallow water.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was seeing today on the show that I was watching. It was that they were getting really into that shallow area with the boats. That one guy was going all the way to the shore almost, and he was really, was kind of saying he was saying that that's where they are, and that's where you're trying to find them. That's where you seem to be catching them. So that's what these guys are after right now, and you just gotta find them. And they
Lake Martin is a shallow. Well, they say I think it's kind of a shallow lake to a certain extent, but it's full of a lot of spotted bass. And the spotted bass is a different species. It's in the black bass category, but you got a largemouth, you got a smallmouth, and you got a spotted bass. Spotted bass is always long and skinny and mean. And they like the cold water, but they like it whenever that water starts warming up. some of them spotted bass right now are probably starting to try to come up and spawn. They'll spawn a little earlier than a largemouth.
I did not know about that kind of bass, Randy. So that was something new, and I learned on
Yeah,
the
I
show
meant to
right
tell
there.
you
Spotted
because
bass.
and then next time I do when I'll try to get some pictures, you can tell the difference in a spotted bass. Well, a spotted bass and a largemouth looks a lot alike, but the jawline don't come as back as far on a spotted bass, and they got a little bit. You can tell them after you fish with them a while. But not only that, you open their mouth and you got a tongue and they got a patch on their tongue. It's a brown patch. That's the way I used to tell whenever I wasn't that. Everybody said that's a spot. I'm like, how you know that's a spot? And I mean, I've fished all my life. My dad always said it's a bass. You know what I mean? I knew in a smallmouth, where a largemouth is green, a smallmouth is brown. Oh, and they don't get as big as a largemouth. The biggest smallmouth the biggest smallmouth I've ever caught is like almost 5 pounds. I mean, but if you catch a 5 or 6 pound smallmouth, it's like you catching a 10 pound largemouth. They're mean. They just fight like everything. And Chickamauga has got a lot of both of them.
Okay.
They don't have as many spots but they do have a lot of largemouth and smallmouth. A lot of the smallmouth are down there below Chickamauga, there at the dam at the river park.
Yeah, I see there's a lot around here in the Chattanooga area, the smallmouth. So that's kind of cool. I like that. It's a little something different. But I guess from the one from last weekend, you got anything else for last weekend's fishing tournament, Randy?
No. I mean, I'd love to. Other than the cold weather, I'm getting, which they're saying this weekend's supposed to warm up some. It's getting me in the fishing fever.
Oh yeah, after this past weekend, it's going to warm up. It's supposed to be warm this coming up weekend, I believe. It's
Yeah.
up to the 70s possibly. There towards the end of the week, so that's going to be cool. And I bet you're getting that itch, Randy, which I've been hearing at work. Everybody's been asking, "You going fishing? You going fishing?"
I'm ready to go. I don't know when I'll get to go, but I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah, won't be long. We'll see your boat out on the water. Maybe I'll get to
You'll
go
see
with you,
boat-
Randy. Maybe I can maybe I can go out there with you
I'm
one
going
day.
to take you and your wife. Since your wife said she won't go, I'll have to take her.
She did say she wanted to go.
We'll have to do a live podcast out there.
Live podcast from Randy's boat. It'll be a lot of fun. All right. The Lippert Bassmasters Elite at Lake Martin, Alexander, Alabama. For all those who don't know where it is, Auburn and Birmingham, right there in the middle of those two cities, is where it's located. It was a rainy, foggy Sunday morning and afternoon for those guys today as it wraps up. Back-to-back weekends for that. For that tournament. I like how it's back-to-back weekends, Randy. That's good for the fishermen. It's good for everybody. If they're already down there in Alabama, just go on down a little bit more south to the other one.
That's what they've done. You'll see a lot of the Bassmasters, and I think even the Bass Pro is doing the same way. If they're in Alabama that month, and the thing about the Bassmasters, they'll do like they done one last week, and then they'll do one this week, or that gives them a lot of times to where they don't have to travel as far. Because it does cost gas and everything like that, and I mean it costs them a lot, and they see that, and they try to look that into consideration and say, well, you're down there, you want to fish, and they say, yeah. So I'm thinking they got it this week. They had it last week, this week. Then they're going to be off until the Classic is, I think, is it the 20th or is it the 12th? The one up in Knoxville. Is it up at 12th up in Knoxville? So that's not very far from the travel, which a lot of them probably live in this southeast area, anywhere from Arkansas up. So it ain't that bad. But you got some of them that lives up in New York, and I think they even have some that live out in California. So they try to keep it close to them, to traveling wise, because they know when it comes fishing season, you'll hear a lot of the pros talk on YouTube and a lot. They're away from their houses 260 as much. So it kind of keeps them in a close vicinity where they don't have to travel one side of the country to the other side of the country. I kind of like that. Lake Martin, I've never fished that lake. While watching it on TV yesterday, it looked like a pretty neat looking little lake. It's shallow. I mean, I don't think it's shallow lake, but it's a small reservoir lake. And I mean, it looked like a neat lake to go down and fish. I've always wanted to go down there. I've got one lake on my bucket list. You know,
Yeah.
as being a bass fisherman, I've always lakes that I wanted to fish in my life, and there's one right down there from it, Lake Eufaula in Alabama. It's at the Alabama Georgia line. I want to fish it one of these days, and I'll probably get to fish it one of these days. But I mean, it's just I mean, that's just I do like the way the bass. What a lot of the tours are doing that, and the MFL does the same thing. They was at I don't know, they ain't had another one yet. I think the next one they go to Hartwell, which that's right up in at the Tennessee, Georgia, right there in that Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina line. It's right in that area right there. So it kind of gives them not too far to travel if they need to travel.
So this weekend, Brock Mosley, he leads day one, he leads day two, but then it seems to kind of fall apart on him a little bit. So why, Randy, are these guys kind of getting changed up a little bit they go from leading to kind of falling off a little bit?
Well, a lot of it is last week they didn't get to use the forward facing sonar, what called live scope. Last week they had to fish a little old school, what I call old school, what I like, which I ain't got nothing against the live scope. People, you'll hear everybody complain about it and this or not. I mean, if I had it, I'd use it. I'd like to have it, but this week they're getting to use that live scope, and that plays a little different. And Brock Mosley probably found a group of fish, and they're probably biting at a certain time. And the way the weather's changing every day, I'm thinking the bite might be different. And the boy that's leading it, that lead it yesterday, his name's Fisher and he is just, I mean, he's a new kid on the block, what they'd call. He's 19 to 20 years old. He just graduated from college not too long ago. He lives right down here in Scottsboro. I kind of know a little bit about his history. He's a good fisherman. He is a dang good fisherman, and he can do it both sides of the fence. He can fish the live scope, forward facing sonar, or he can do it old school because he's been trained by some. He'll call one of the Bass Pro guys, and people probably not heard him a lot. Gerald Swindle, they call him the G-Man. G-Man he calls him his uncle because his daddy and G-Man grew up together and they fished together a lot. So he's got a lot of he's good to be. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's on top of his game.
I see. So with the first day with Brock, he got 15 pounds 7 ounces. Second day was 26 pounds 6 ounces there for Brock, and then the third day for Fisher was 28 10 ounces. So he kind of found it there.
He found him a good group of fish, and he's got on them. And I mean, and the thing about it, when you find a lot of them fish, and even this is just fishermen in total, a lot of them, if they find a group of fish and another guy found a group of fish, and whoever's there first, and he knows, everybody probably knows that Brock had them fish there, they're not going to go in there on him and try to catch his fish. The same way with Fisher and all them other guys, they know them guys are fishing that, and they'll leave them alone and let them fish it. And I like that. That's just showing sportsmanship. Oh. That's what it comes down to. And I'd say Brock, I mean, I ain't got nobody on there that I don't like.
Okay.
But
I was kind of curious if there's any kind of tension in this sport. Do they any kind of
I have seen them get tension before, and you can watch some YouTube things, and there's some funny things that happen. And I mean, I've seen it happen before. There's one guy, the only guy that I could say that I really dislike that's in the top 10. His name is Chris Aldane. He's from Texas. I used to like him, but he was fishing a few years ago somewhere. It was down here in the South, and it was on a Saturday or Sunday, either one. And there's a couple pros come in there, and they was fishing there before he was. He come in on top of them and was trying to trying real rudely, talking real hard at them, telling them to get off his fishing spot because he's fishing for a living. And they're like, well, I mean, that's wrong. And he told them, I heard him say, you want me to come to your job and take your job away from you? And I'm like, I'm redneck. You wouldn't say that to me because I'd be coming across that boat.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a right way and a wrong way to do it. He could have come up there and said, hey, guys, I'm fishing for $100,000. Would you back off for a little bit and let me fish this spot? And 9 times out of 10, most people will say, okay. But you come in there like a bull in china shop, what my wife calls me sometimes. She'll say, you walk around like a bull in china shop. If you come in there like that and be a smart aleck, they're going to smart back and say, no, I'm not going nowhere.
Right. So these fish are getting caught very shallow down here this weekend, 5 feet. Talk
Yeah.
about that some, Randy.
I think it's because, each day the water's warmed up. Well, the temperature's got a little warmer every day. Today, the rain, and it's probably still a little cool, warming rain like, and it's warming that water up, and then fish are coming up. And they got a lot of blueback. They said the fish is the Lake Martin spotted bass is known. That's what that lake is known for. It's got a lot of blueback herring in there, and then blueback herring, when the water starts warming up, they'll start coming up shallow. Them fish are chasing them blueback herring. Blueback herring ain't got. I don't know if I got anything here that kind of looks like a blueback herring. I brought some stuff in. When I come in, blueback herring kind of looks something like something like that. Got some blue and gold, and some of them got silver in them. Bait they'll get that long too, and the fish will be looking for that because I'm the same way. Do you got a single burger or you got a double burger? That looks like a double burger.
That looks like a double. It does. That's a good way to look at it. I like that. But yeah, these fish are jumping on stuff, it looks like, and if they're a little bit shallow, but these guys are starting to catch them, and they're starting to use some of them are small bait they're using, but then some are using the bigger ones.
Yeah, some of them, and I mean, a lot of times they'll use that. What they're doing right now on that forward facing sonar, they'll throw this little small bait like that. They make it even smaller. I think this is a 3 inch. Oh, this is a 4.5. And they make that in a 3 inch, so you even smaller. And that's what they're throwing over there. They got it probably on a jig head minnow, and they're working it across, so they're like just kind of swimming it a little bit, kind of like what Hank Cherry was doing in that grass. But they're doing it out in open water, and them fish will just eat it up.
So as I was watching today, so the water is down 7 feet, Randy. So it's getting to where the water is lower down there at Lake Martin. It's kind of like here in Chickamauga. It seems like with the water depth. So 7 feet seems like a lot.
Yeah, 7 feet's a lot. I think Chickamauga is 7 to 8 foot right now. What I've heard. I think that's what one boy was telling me. I hadn't fished it in a while, but I do know it. The other day when I come by there to my parents, I'll come by there at Wolf Teever there in Harrison, and it looked awful low. And somebody said it was 7 to 8 foot deep, and it must be a reservoir, a small reservoir like that, and there must be a dam that they got to let down because they're thinking all the rain's going to come down. They say that's what it's got a lot to do with why they drop the water, because if they don't drop the water a lot, something about if you have a wet winter, it could flood everything more. It's more the way they can control the dams, and that's what they've always said. And I've never understand it, because you go to some of these lakes like Nickajack, right below there in Guntersville. They don't drop it. They may drop it a foot, if that.
Oh, yeah.
Or Chickamauga and Watts Bar, even up right above, and they drop the bottom out of it. 7, 8 foot deep every time. But and that's where people right now, what my dad used to do, and I've done it a few times with him, when the water drops like that, we'll go out and we'll put out brush. Mostly around Christmas time, you get them Christmas trees. You'll put them Christmas trees out in time with blocks, and you put brush out, because when the water comes up, then fish will go to that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. About the trees, that's good. Yeah, it's good thinking on that, Randy. To put out the trees in the brush, that'll help. So when the water comes up, the fish will attract the fish to go to that. Let's talk about boats a little bit. Randy, what is the top boat out there? You got Tracker, you got Phoenix. What is your go-to boat?
I don't know. If I was going to buy a new boat right now, I'd probably buy Phoenix. That's me. Okay. You got Phoenix, you got a Camus, and you got an Icon. Icon is probably the top of the line, I'd say. I'd say the Icon. I think Jacob Wheeler helped design it. He's from Chattanooga area, Harrison area. He's one of the top fishermen right now in the bass. He's out of the Bass Pro Tour. He's been angler of the year for the last 4 years. He's, I mean, he's just a down to earth young man. He's in his. I think I watched a podcast on him the other day. He's 35 years old, and I bet you they ain't no telling how much money he's worth. He designed the Icon, and it's probably, I'm gonna say, $100,000 bass boat with everything on it. But if I was gonna buy a boat right now, I'd probably buy a Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, that was a brand that I was seeing on the upstairs when I was watching upstairs. I saw the Phoenix, the Tracker. There's a lot of different brands out there, so I was
Yeah,
kind of
you
curious
got
on
you
your
got
end.
Phoenix, you got Tracker, which is the Nitro. The Nitro is a Tracker brand. If you went to Bass Pro Shop and want a fiberglass boat, your fiberglass is your Nitro. If you want an aluminum boat, it's a Tracker. You got them. You've got the Skeeter, Lord, Bass Cat. I'm trying to think. Skeeter, Bass Cat, uh, Triton. Triton makes one, and Camus and Icon. I think that's the major brands. But I like the Phoenix. Phoenixes are made over here in Winchester, Tennessee, right across the
Okay.
mountain. So I mean, it's made over there. They're neat looking. I mean, they're all boat. I mean, it's all what you want to put into a boat. The
Let's talk about.
electronics, what get you. You
Oh, I
see all
see.
them.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can see all them guys up there. They got on the front of their deck. They got three depth finders, probably eight to no, they probably 10 to 12 inch consoles. I mean, that's where you run into your money. Them things are $5,000-6,000 a piece.
Let's talk about some of the rods, Randy. Let's talk about some of the name brand rods out there. You got the bait casters, you got the spinners. What is some of the top rods out there?
Top
Reels, like the.
rods, I would say, is either a I don't know. You've got Duckett makes a rod.
Okay.
That's a good rod.
Okay.
Saint Chronicles make a rod. I mean, then you got your brands like Shimano and Abbey
Okay. Yeah.
Garcia. They make rod and reels. You got the bait casters. I ain't got no bait caster, but I got this reel right
Okay, you
here.
got one.
That's a spinning reel. This is a Shimano.
Yeah.
This is the one I ain't had time to set it up yet. This is the one I got at our Christmas party.
Oh, okay. You got a fishing rod or fishing reel. Okay.
I got a fishing reel.
Heck
I'd get a
yeah.
rod for it. But if I was going to buy a new rod and reel, it'd probably be either a Daiwa makes a good one. I mean, the Shimano makes it. It's just all what you like.
Okay.
And it's all, if you're going to buy one, probably the best good name brand that's going to last you a while is Abu Garcia and a Shimano.
Okay. I've heard of the Shimano before, so.
Yeah. But you got both of them. They're both good rod and reels. So they all make it's just whatever you like. And whatever you hear everybody say this. Lose makes a good one. Lose and Strike King is together now. You've heard a lot of Strike King. You hear a lot of Strike King.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just Ducket. I've got a bunch of I've got 2 or 3 Duckets. I mean, I ain't spent. I buy whatever I can find at the right at that time that's a good buy. I'm not picky. I'm not picky at all.
Right. So I guess this time of year, Randy, you start getting your stuff kind of freshened up for fishing about this
Yeah,
time of year.
I need to. I'm trying to get some of it going. I'm trying. It's been probably next. I got an email. I got text the other day. One of the I don't fish many tournaments anymore, but I do fish one tournament a year. It's called the Walter A. Woods Spring Fling, and it's always a Good Friday weekend. They do it on that Friday, Good Friday, and it'll be a 5 fish limit, and it'll be on Nickajack. You can fish Nickajack or Guntersville. And he'd messaged me, and I forgot all about it. And he told me it was coming up, and I said, "Okay, put me down." Me and my dad usually fish it, so we'll fish it that Good Friday weekend. It'll be on that Friday, and so
I got some fan mail for you, Randy. What is your biggest fish you've caught? My dad was wanting to know what is the biggest fish you've caught in a tournament.
Biggest fish I caught in a tournament was 8 pound, 8 pound, 8 ounces. Yeah, me and my dad, we was fishing a tournament out of Harrison Bay, a 3 fish tournament, and I had that eight, and I had a 5 something, and I had a 2-pounder. We had over close to 16 pounds. It's probably one of the fish. It's one of the fish I got on maybe one of my older Facebook pages. That was one of the best days we had, 8-pounder. That's the biggest fish, and I think that's probably the biggest fish I've ever caught. Ate something largemouth.
That's what my dad. He was wanting to. He asked me a while back about that question. He's wanting me to ask you next time you're on here. So
Yeah,
there you go,
tell him
Dad.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Anything else you got on that, Randy? Fishing wise?
I think that's. I mean, I'm trying to think. That's about it.
Okay.
On fishing wise, I'm. These warm days are making us want to go. Making me want to go.
Definitely get the itch for sure. All right, Randy, we'll move on to the Tennessee mid-season review. Last night, LSU came up to Knoxville and played Tennessee. It was dark mode, 6 o'clock last night. Halftime was 35-29 Tennessee, and the final was 73-63 Tennessee. Good to see Tennessee get the win. Keep winning. Let's get this season wrapped up. Let's get this thing finished up. Let's get these games where we can keep winning and not fall behind or have a lead early on throughout the game and then we lose it.
Like what we done last week against Kentucky. The past 2 times against Kentucky, I mean, we have the lead. Going into halftime? Yeah. I mean, over 10. What was it last week? 12-point lead at halftime, and then at the end of the game, when I went to bed, and when I woke up, and I seen they lost. I went, "Dang, what happened?" I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough when you go to bed like that and you wake up and what the heck happened? And I kind of felt the same way. Like you got these leads, you got to be able to finish them, and they get to be important here late here in the season. And I've been trying to figure it out throughout these last couple of weeks. But we got a pretty good stretch coming up for the next 6 games. We got Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Alabama, South Carolina, and then Vandy again. So that's kind of what's coming up looks like. We're 18-7 for the season right now so far, Randy, and we're 8-4 in conference. So conference games you want to keep winning because you don't want to get in these ties with how it works out. Well, you just got to be able to control your own stuff.
Your own destiny. You're controlling your own destiny.
You gotta control your own. You gotta control that. So that's kind of what that was looking like. And I say in the next 6 games, man, if we can win, give me 5 wins out of those. Now Vanderbilt's a good team. We gotta play them twice in the next couple of weeks.
That's what I heard you say Vanderbilt twice, and Vanderbilt is a good team. That's gonna be if we can beat them once, we'll be all right.
Yeah. So if we can just beat them at home, maybe, and then we got to go to Nashville at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we can win at home, we'll be all right.
Yeah. So I guess right now, the take on the team is, I think it's going to be a year that we can finish up here and then get into the conference championship tournament. And
who's the best in the conference?
Oh, I'd say Georgia's okay. They're mid, but probably the best. Maybe you got Kentucky's pretty good.
Arkansas.
There's a handful of teams that are going to be tough. Vanderbilt's probably might be one of the better teams, the best teams, and they're trying to run the state. They got a lot to say when it comes to.
Yeah, you remember Javi last year said that Tennessee Vandy was going to run the state. I hope not, but they did in football. Let's hope they don't do it in basketball.
Yeah, so they won it in football, but we're not going to let them do it in basketball, and they ain't going to do it twice to us, hopefully.
Yeah.
Anything else on the Tennessee basketball, Randy?
No, that's about it. I mean, I'm getting ready for March Madness.
Yeah. Once it gets to March Madness, once the tournament starts, that's when I think everybody really gets to be.
Everybody starts getting into it at March Madness because they play a bunch of games. I mean, it ain't like what football's going to get. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever get that bad, but we got 12, 13 games, then you got the playoffs. So, I mean, it's going to get, but not like 20 games, 25 games or like that. It kind of gets, but when you get into March Madness, that's win or go home.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they go into March Madness. I'm hoping for like a 4 to 5 seed. Hopefully it's that it doesn't drop down to 8 or 9 seed. So hopefully, we'll have a good seed going in the tournament because you don't want the 8, 9. Then it's tough. You got a tough stretch. If you can be
you got to win all. I mean, you got more games you got to play.
Yeah, so it's tough. So hopefully, I just don't want to see our team get in March Madness and then we lose out early, or we only get to the Sweet 16 when we get to the Final Four. That'd be awesome. That's what I want to see.
I love to see us go to the Final Four.
So give us a little run there. Let's get deep into the March Madness would be the goal for me. I guess that about wraps that up. So we're going to shift on to some Tennessee baseball a little bit. We dominated this weekend, Randy. Look good. We played
Yes,
two
we did.
yesterday
Hey,
against Nicholas. It's a smaller school probably, but hey, it doesn't matter. We're going to play, and this is a good time to really see where we're at. We got the new coach, got some of the same players that did stay after the coaching
yeah,
change, after we lost our coach to the Giants, as he took that role over there as the manager out west. So I mean, team looks cocky. They look confident, and they're making good hits with the ball and hitting the home runs and getting on base.
that's what we got
And
to do.
that's what
That's
you
what
got
you
to
got to
you
do.
got to get them on and get them in. That's
Yeah.
like I would like to
Then
say.
you got to have the pitching to close it.
Yeah, yeah, yep. It's come down to the pitching and the hitting. That's very true. And the pitching's what can win you the games.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to win these games to get to the Omaha. Should be a fan's goal for their team. It's tough, but you got to find a way to get to Omaha. And if you get to Omaha, then you never know what's going to happen.
Does Tennessee play Georgia Tech?
Not this year. I don't think so. Now I played 2 years ago in the regionals in Knoxville, and Tennessee got the win.
Okay.
And I only have one. That's a very good lead into. I have one slight complaint about the Georgia Tech baseball helmet they were wearing. It was a really shiny, like gold, but it was so shiny that I just wasn't a fan of it. So, Dad, if you're watching, not a big fan of the baseball helmet that the players are wearing on the field. Um, just wasn't for me. It was too much. Go back to the blue.
Go back to the
Just
blue.
go back to the blue. Don't give me this extremely shiny helmet, batting helmet.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
these teams always try something different
They try
with the
something
uniforms.
different. I mean, they're going to do what just like the football teams. Everybody's going to do that. Just like what was it the other week? Whenever when we played Auburn, them jerseys, them uniforms, Auburn played Tennessee. Good Lord, I was like, where'd they come up with them at? I mean, I know it was what was it, a special game that night, but I'm like, damn, them colors look awful. So,
Yeah, they always try a little something. It probably come down to what the players like. If the players are gonna like it, and that's probably what they're gonna do. So, and it
mhm,
gets the fans to buy certain stuff. So, it all, I guess, everybody wins really if you think about
yeah.
it. But I'm not a big fan of it. Real quick, a little bit of the Braves talk. Real quick, got a new coach. Walt Weiss is the new manager for the Braves. I just, as a fan, I want to see the team bounce back from last year, kind
Yeah.
of perform better. Spring practice is underway. Spring training's underway. So we're going to kind of start. Those games will start down there the next couple of weeks, I would say. And it's kind of just a good judgment. It's kind of hard to tell what really happens in spring ball. Doesn't really.
Didn't that Walt Weiss is their coach? Didn't he play for him?
Oh, he may have years ago. He was a coach there already in the past, so they just moved him up to
Okay,
manager.
I'm
So,
thinking he was. I remember watching. I'm not 100% sure. I believe he played about the same time Chipper played.
oh, okay, you may have. That's a
I
good point
watched the
there.
Braves a lot back then. I mean, I watch it now when it gets closer to playoff seasons and World Series and stuff like that. But I'll try to, if they ain't nothing on, sometimes I'll try to turn it on, try to get into it and stuff. But I don't know a lot of the players no more, so it's hard to. Used to when you remembered Chipper and
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Jones and Brian McCann, and you had the duo of Tom Gladden, John Smoltz, and Greg Maddox. I mean, that's whenever I watched it a lot. Which I mean, it's just a series I was in at that time. I liked baseball, and I still do, but I watched it a lot.
You named out all kind of good names right there, Randy. That was good. um, but yeah, so we got to compete with the Phillies, the Mets, the Marlins. So we got to win the East, but we got to compete with the Phillies, Randy. And the Phillies are always a
Phillies,
real good team.
Philly's been tough in the past few years, ain't they?
Yeah, they've been competitive. They've been tough, and they're probably a team to watch. I'd say this year. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be one of the top in the East.
Ain't that
So,
Harper? Does that Bryce Harper? Ain't he still with the
yeah,
Phillies?
he was at the National. Now he's at the Phil. I think he's at the Phillies still. He's some people. I guess you either love him or you hate him, and I
Mhm.
guess I don't care for him.
Yeah, he jumps around too much.
He does. He loves the
I
attention. He
mean,
likes to jump around a lot.
mm,
We will move on to some picks for you, Randy. I got some picks for you. A rapid fire: Tennessee versus Oklahoma. Who gets the win this coming up week?
I think Tennessee will beat Oklahoma.
Okay, I like it. Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. Who you got?
Where are they playing at? Home?
Let's see here. I can look it up real quick. I think. Let's see here. Uh, I think it's let's see here. I get here. Saturday. It is at Vanderbilt at 19 Vanderbilt. 2 o'clock. ESPN.
Mm. Mm. Ooh. I'll give me Tennessee. They got to win
Okay.
one of them. We're gonna
Yeah,
say
they gotta
let's
win
beat
one
them
of
up there, and they, you know what I mean. Let's win out. That's what I'm gonna say. We're gonna win out.
All right, and then Tennessee at Missouri on the 24th. Who you got in that one?
Missouri, Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right. Yeah, Missouri is 17-8 right now, so that's a pretty equal matchup. I
That's
like
pretty
that.
good.
So
That should be a good game.
that'll be a good game. That's at 9 o'clock there on the 24th coming up. All right, Randy, you got anything else for the show? You got one last thought for the show, Randy?
Uh, just stay positive. Stay positive.
There you go.
Our team can be down. Stay positive.
Yeah, I like that. That's a very good thought.
I have to use that a lot at work. Stay positive.
Yeah, I
You
got
know
a
what I
good
mean?
joke for you Monday or tomorrow. I'll tell you
Okay.
about your
But
reel
yeah.
you got there. You showed, but I'll save that for Monday.
All right. We say we can't say too much, but yeah, just always think positive. They always. I mean, we're going. I mean, win or lose, think positive. Positive attitude gives better ways of thinking.
That's right.
Thanks.
My one last thought is Ryan Blaney's in fourth place right now in the 500, and I'm gonna think positive and think he's gonna stay out of trouble, and he's gonna get to the front here as this race is wrapping up a little bit. They're on stage 2, so that'll be coming to an end here. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to getting off here and watching the big
Well,
race.
watching the big race.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Well, that being said, we're going to close it down. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe on the YouTube. Thanks for coming on, Randy. If you got any
Thank you.
fan mail,
Thank you
then
for letting
send
me
them.
on.
Oh, you're welcome. If you got any fan mail, you can send them my way in the comments here on YouTube or on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. You can let me know any kind of feedback or questions you got for the show. You can follow us on the Facebook and Instagram. And you can check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify. That being said, we're going to say see you in the
See you
next
in the
one.
next one.